everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri, and today I'm very excited to introduce you to our guest, Ms. Revathi Kasturi, who is the CEO of LAQSH Job Skills Academy in Bangalore. Welcome to this talk, Revathi. But before I
Hi.
go ahead and ask you questions, I would like to tell our audience more about you. So incidentally, when I met Revathi for the first time very recently, we had very interesting conversations about improving the vocational teachers' competencies, making their life very aspirational in terms of profession, in terms of career. And she's doing fantastic work in this area, collaborating with many organizations and impacted many teachers across many states. So I thought, why not catch up with Revathi today and ask a few interesting questions and learn more about LAQSH, how it all started, and this interest in improving the trainers or the vocational teachers' competencies. So let's get started, Revathi.
Thank you so much, Madhuri. I'm delighted. I've always been wanting to connect with you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to reach out to your audience.
Yeah. So please tell us more about the activities, that happen at LAQSH, and how are your programs designed? What are the skills you focus on?
So, LAQSH Job Skills Academy is the name of the company. And as you can see, it means how do I get people with the skills to be ready for jobs? When we started 17 years ago, it looked like there were lots of jobs
Okay.
and there were people who didn't have jobs, and the only thing was to skill them, and suddenly they would all have jobs. I
Hmm.
wish life was so simple. I thought it was very simple. That's all I needed to do. Skill people, and everybody is happy. Employer is happy, and employee is happy. However, in these years, things have changed. There are more challenges. Jobs are fewer and far between. Skilling has picked up, but again, there's a long way to go. As I see, we need to explore and see how to keep on changing your business plan, changing your strategies to suit this new environment.
Yeah.
So, when we started LAQSH, as I said, the formula was simple. Let's just skill people, get them employment, and job is done.
Yeah.
However, what we found is when we tried to reach out to people through different methods, we went to unemployed people through the state governments, we attended job fairs, we tried to work with corporates to say, okay, you give us a mandate, we
Mm-hmm.
will find the people, we will skill them and give it to you. So
Yeah.
we tried both strategies, fulfilling what a corporate needs and starting from scratch, training them, and then going and shopping around for the right jobs.
Hmm.
In both, we hit upon different challenges.
Okay.
Corporates, for example, they when they looked at the time frame of 3 to 6 months for skilling a person, in that time frame, their business also was going through ups and downs.
Hmm.
They were not willing to commit employment, so they used to defer the employment. And for a small company like ours, it was a breach of faith or trust with the candidate, right? If they say, oh, we joined this training because we thought we are getting this job. But if the job keeps getting deferred, then they feel it's a loss of trust. So we realized that we couldn't adopt any of these models per se.
Hmm.
So it didn't prevent me from trying multiple strategies to make this and that work. I think one of the things we realized is finally, let's not worry too much and beat ourselves too much that we haven't solved this problem worldwide. It's such a big problem
Yeah.
that let's take baby steps towards solving the problem.
Yeah.
So I think now we are, uh, after so many years, I think we are more grounded. We are not thinking that we have transformed the world and transformed India and changed the whole thing, but we are putting our inputs into solving the problem bit by bit and small steps.
Okay, that's nice. So, how did you get into the teacher education, vocational teacher education segment? Uh,
Okay, so one of the challenges that faces an organization if you are very serious about pursuing only skills, and it's not just one out of your multiple businesses, right? You need to look at a sustenance strategy.
Yeah.
And what we found is we do not want, we were working with this state government, that state government, this project, that project, and suddenly one project will be launched and in few months it would be withdrawn. How do you keep a workforce engaged? How
Yeah.
do you meet your monthly payroll bill if things like this keep happening? Which means we had to have something on the ground, sustainable, regular streams, and not project based. So that's when we decided to shift to the school segment, where
Okay.
already this national skills qualification framework was being rolled out in schools, government schools. And there we found they were longer term initiatives. And once that scheme got subsumed into Samagra Shiksha, it meant it was part of the regular stream. It was not going to be, though it is still treated as a project, but it is regular.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
is not, it's not going to be, taken up 1 year and withdrawn the next year, etc., etc., like what happens otherwise with some of these other skilling schemes of state governments and central government. So once we had that, we have an army of vocational trainers across the country. And we realized that it is our responsibility to take care of their skilling, their upskilling, their reskilling, their orientation. So that's when we started getting into the vocational trainer education also, not just the students, but also the trainers.
Yeah. And you have any particular skills or trades in which you offer this? Is it like technical or pedagogic or non-technical, which is what we call as the platform skills and the domain skills and all? Does it go into all that, or how does it work? Can you tell us a bit more?
Sure. So, like you said, there is a domain and there is a pedagogical skills.
Yeah.
There's what in the skills framework they call as platform skills. So we have master trainers for both.
Okay.
And what I realize is in the professional skills, uh, ecosystem, we are always hiring technically trained people. That means they know their domain. They will have an engineering degree or a diploma. They know their domain, but they have not come through this B.Ed and all these where they understand more about education process, the teaching learning process, etc. So we needed to do that. We need to supplement that. We need to give these professionals that grounding also about how learning happens. And the beauty is that when we started this program, people said they thought it is only for the arts and those segments. Then I explained to them that the learning process, the teaching learning process, is a scientific process, and there's so much progress being done, and so much of research on what are most effective ways of teaching and learning, that then they all got excited and they realized that that's a valuable input and it complements what they have learned on the job. While they are trying, they obviously learn some things, but this complements that. So yes, we do both. We do platform as well as domain. And broadly, we sort of stuck to service industry skills, not manufacturing. Okay, so service industry is electronics, IT, um financial services. These are three core areas with a lot of job opportunities. Beauty and wellness. So it was easy for us to add on these segments because there is a service orientation in all these segments,
Right.
customer facing challenges. So that's part of the core competency that the student and the trainers need to have, in addition to the domain specific. So we are therefore working across all these segments. More recently, we've added tourism, we've added agriculture, and so on.
Okay, that's interesting. And how do you implement these programs? Maybe the audience will be happy to connect with you probably if they have any requirements. So how do these programs get implemented, and are they all in physical mode, or do you also leverage technology to make it blended, or how does it work?
So thank you for asking. We are now doing uh, the certification programs for various sector skills councils, electronics, IT, all online
Mm-hmm.
for various job roles. Both the what you call as the platform skills as well as the domain skills. We have started doing this online. We have a platform called Skills to Sparkle,
Okay.
skillstosparkle.com, and you can go there, see the courses, and register online.
Mm-hmm.
And there are batches organized from time to time. And we also help them and guide them through the certification process with the SSC also then. So
Okay.
it's the training and the certification. That's what we do. In addition to this, for our trainers specifically who are there in the schools, we do practicals, physical. So we've done this in many states where we do a 5 day, uh, like a workshop. We
Hmm.
get service technicians, we get all the hardware required, and we encourage our trainers to actually solve problems right there
Okay.
under the guidance of the service technicians. So
Hmm.
as you know, engineers will have a degree but very little practical knowledge, whereas
Right.
the technicians may not understand the theory so much, but they are extremely good practically. So it is this, the marriage between the two which will really improve the quality of skills training. So we bring these service technicians, we ask them to bring their whatever required, and then we actually do this workshop where our trainers try. And you'd be surprised what a relief they feel. I think, the online training and certification is one part, but the physical, get your hands dirty and learn is also very critical.
Yes, yeah. And now that, it's all post-COVID times, we are all happy to again get back to the physical mode and meet
Absolutely.
people and learn. So that's a wonderful thing to happen. So one last point I would like to know more about from you is, how has been the experience about vocational teachers from the training perspective? Because there is a lot, as we know, needs to be done in the vocational teachers, particularly for schools now that NEP is coming up with a lot of changes, and there is a push for introducing many vocational subjects. So if you look 5 years down the line, where are we today, and how do you think we should really prepare teachers, make it really, aspirational for them? Today it is like there is lack of professionalism in terms of training. There aren't many financial incentives, like their salaries are very low, and the working conditions, and then industry contribution is also very low in terms of empowering the trainers. So how do you see this scenario unfolding, and what would be the role of LAQSH, and how do you want to achieve this goal?
Quite very important question, and uh, I'm not sure I have all the answers, but let me attempt. I think, see, like you said, the NEP has stressed about vocational education.
Mm.
So one hopes that it will grow and increase in numbers as well as in the depth and from strength to strength. Vocational trainers across the country uh, are still unhappy about their financial compensation.
Yes.
Initially, it was good, but there was a plan to get them at least 5% increment every year.
Mm.
Unfortunately, many states have not implemented it. So this is a constant, it's a challenge, because I think we have to recognize that there has to be some sort of increment. And this is sometimes, lots of unrest because of that. In terms of inputs of training, I think they are, while the policies articulated provide for it, in practice, sometimes it doesn't happen. It's up to the local team on the ground to make it happen.
Right.
So, for example, at LAQSH, we keep pursuing all our stakeholders and say, hey, we have to do this training. We must do 6 days, 7 days training every year.
Mm.
Because if you want to keep something market relevant, you have to realize that things are changing.
Right.
What they started off with and what it is now, things are changing. So, for example, today, Chat GPT and AI has taken the world by storm. How are teachers impacted? How are students impacted? How do we, without looking at it as a threat,
Yeah.
take what is good from that
Yeah.
and then you adopt it so that you can become more productive and you can leverage that better both for your own work as well as for students.
Right.
So I think investing in this training of teachers, making sure they have a career path, investing in teachers training,
Hmm.
as well as making sure that there is a clear career path ahead for them
Hmm.
is an imperative. And all of us who are in this field need to are aware of it and need to see what we can do to make this happen.
Okay. Yeah, so besides these points, Revathi, is there anything else which could be perhaps a message to the vocational teachers and trainers from your experience and your rich experience, I would say, interacting with so many of them?
Yes, so we do this survey of students every year,
Okay.
of our students who are the students of our teachers. And amongst the many questions that we ask them about whether they like the course, what they are learning, what their plans are, how do
Hmm.
they look at the future, we always ask them, who are your role models?
Okay.
And you would be amazed that almost 90% or above, their role model is actually the vocational trainer.
Oh, yeah.
So, which means our trainers, young, smart, tech savvy,
Hmm.
bringing the world of work and really to the students,
Hmm.
being so approachable,
Hmm.
um, they are the role models. So you have a great responsibility because you can see all these kids are looking up to you.
Yeah.
So, you can shape so many minds. And
Right.
what more does a teacher want except the respect and love of your students? So you are quite lucky and blessed, I would say.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's a very nice positive note, I mean, for teachers. And with all the work you're doing, I'm sure gradually there will be a lot of improvement in the scenario of vocational teacher education in the country. So thank you so much for sharing these views today, the points from your experience, and we look forward to be connected with you and learn more.
Thank you so much, Madhuri. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.